Welcome to the One Heart, One Mind podcast. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Everybody, aloha and malolele and talofa lava, all the way from these studios in Salt Lake City, in Utah. Oh, yeah, in Murray, Utah. My name is George and Mataile, a clinical and social worker here in the state of Utah, and this is episode 1 of the One Heart, One Mind podcast. Today we have a special, amazing, beautiful guest on our episode. We have all the way from Frost City Tattoo.
Yes, sir.
We got Lala Elvin. Welcome to the podcast. Oh yeah. That's a good one, yeah?
You didn't tell us you had this on there, man.
Yeah. And then, all the way from Upolu, from the mountains of the tops of Savai'i, representing Samoana High School. He's going, did you go? No, you didn't go there. We got a Juju Hunkins. Welcome, Juju, with all your good Juju. You look so good as you come and do the yeah. Hey, oh.
What about George, though? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's George.
The one and only.
Ooh.
The one and only.
Oh, right there.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, please, guys. Both of you are men that I truly love and respect. But please, before for all the audiences who are not aware of you, please, when we'd like to introduce our brother and Juju, if you can give a quick introduction about you and yourself and your journey, and if you can tell us what is your favorite ice cream flavor.
My name is Juju Hunkin. I am a father of 3. I've been divorced twice. I'm a single father of 2. My son Tyson, who's 24, and my youngest son Elisaiah, who is 3. I'm a survivor of child suicide. I lost my son Xavier at the age of 21 in 2023. I'm passionate about growth, healing, and just doing better every day as a father, as a member of my community, and yeah, my favorite ice cream. So I lived in Texas for 20 years, and there's a brand called Bluebell.
Bluebell.
If you know the Bluebell, that's ice cream right there. And that ice cream it's the ice cream you pay for at the ice cream store, but you get to take it home from the grocery store. Ooh. So it is fire. It's called, they have a place in Utah now, it's called True Moo.
True Moo.
I think in West Jordan. So I'll let your boy.
Nice.
I would say a Millennium. It's like a combination of vanilla with chocolate chips, caramel chips.
Bluebell. I'm Googling all this later. Bluebell.
Yeah. And the Millennium flavor.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever noticed how like ice cream can just like touch your like esophagus?
Hey,
like,
pause.
Hard pause enough.
Not for real. Not for real. No, for real. It's like and then like when you eat it, it's like en mi corazón, like it just, it's a medication, but not for my diabetes. But like it's all good. And Juju, we welcome you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for your openness and your vulnerability, and especially from drinking from the cup of divorce twice, and being a survivor of a child and suicide. From a social work perspective, please, Juju, you're a miracle.
Thank you, sir.
You should not be alive today.
Thank you, sir.
All the statistics say that
the odds, man.
Literally.
You changed the statistics.
God did.
God did.
God did.
Awesome. Hey, please give it up for Juju Hunkins. Thank you for coming to the podcast. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And next, all the way from Tongatapu, representing Toloa and Leohana High School. No, sorry.
Tonga.
Okay, from
Komotua.
From Kolomatua, tease up, and we got Lala Ellsworth.
I'm your neighborhood hood rat. I tattoo for a living. I do a handful of other things, but biggest is honorable mention, dad. I'm a father of 3. I also been divorced. I actually got divorced twice from the same person, but it was only because the time lapsed. But yeah, not like it wasn't. Yeah,
No,
but
like, I get it.
yeah. And then I recently I've been remarried, but between one thing and another thing, there's a long episode of crazy shenanigans that somehow I carried on my whole time and did everything I was supposed to do and built things and created things, and all the while I probably should have fell apart, but I never did. Yeah, I kind of kept it together, but other than that, yeah, I like doing hood rat things with my friends.
Those are important.
And ice cream. Oh man, I found Haagen-Dazs. That's
Bro,
Haagen-Dazs. They have a flavor called caramel cone.
Oh, dude, teach me.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to keep supporting Haagen-Dazs because it sounded like a Nazi Germany term.
Okay,
or something, but
like are they
it
German
is
or
deli-
Dutch?
I don't know, but
Okay,
it just sounds. Is it Dutch?
I mean, like, sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Oh man, mein Führer. No, yeah, but that one, waffle cone,
Waffle cone.
waffle cone,
Nice.
or caramel cone, caramel cone, caramel
It's
cone.
like
The
your
rest
combo.
my nucleus. Awesome.
Pause again.
Pause.
You
There's
got
gonna be a
one
lot of
more,
pausing
buddy.
in this episode. Just letting y'all know. George's right there. There's gonna be some pauses.
Hey, in mental health, we are called to be authentic and transparent and open and honest.
Dude, I love it, man. I
Rawr.
love it, man. Don't let me dim your light, man. Turn it up a little.
Also, everybody, my name is George Mataile. I'm a clinical social worker. I've been in the field of mental health now since 2010, so for 15 years. Men's health are my passion. I am also divorced. I am an addict practicing 10 plus years in recovery.
Man, 10 plus?
10 plus
Hey,
years,
man.
man.
Good job.
Yeah, you know, and I practice the 12 steps on a daily and basis. I got 3 kids, and I have been single but not ready to mingle since 2018.
Man.
So just on that healing and journey. And I think one of the reasons why I brought you and both here and Juju and Lala is because as I've connected with you and spoken with you, it is easy to and talk about like what's it say?
It's a long note.
Just got a love letter. Sorry for the pause.
Bro, I love this.
We had a pause that opened up for.
Shout out to Sunny Purcell and like it's like and honey. Shout out to Wella and Ifo for the Empowerment Men's and Conference, and shout out to Coach V and shout out to Frost City and Tattoo,
Yes, sir.
and who else and who shout out to?
I don't know. Oh, we were part of that one too. Wella's event.
Yes.
We just donated stuff and yeah.
Yeah, man.
Who else needs a shout out?
Bonfire.
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 Also, I'm sorry, like who's Bonfire?
The one who supplied the cover over there.
Oh yes, please.
Yeah.
That was
You know what I'm
spectacular.
saying?
Yeah.
Give me 2 scoops, man.
Man.
One for the pain and one for the brain, man.
Oh yeah, wait. Like, clap. Shout out to DJ Wangalele and for all the men who are trying to do some good stuff out there. Yeah, so just to go back, I chose both of you because you have achieved something in your journey called accountability. Both of you have learned and are continuing to learn that all the happiness that you need does not start inside of you. Wait, does not start outside of you.
Yeah.
That it must start within you. And so I just think that it's really important for our men and who look like us, who think like us, who speak like us, and who think like us to be able and just to have a voice and a place and a space and a face to the struggle of being divorced. So the topic of our podcast for today is how to survive being divorced, how to survive a new identity, and how to find accountability. So the first question that I'd like to open it up is that if you were to go back, I don't know what, 5, 10, 15 years ago, to the day that you signed those divorce papers, what would Juju say to Juju? What would Lala say to Lala? With everything that you know now. So, and Juju, please.
Okay.
Start us off, man.
Starts off.
Drop the jewels.
Bro, I would say that I would tell myself that I was gonna make it. That I was gonna make it, and that although that road would be scary, it was gonna happen, and that the sooner that I was willing to jump on board, then that it would get better. But I also realized I wasn't talking to myself good. I was like, you're not gonna make it. You can't do it without it. Who's gonna help you with the kids? Who's gonna do this? Like, so really, if I could go back, I think talking good to myself. Talking good to myself in the spirit of like, I am gonna make it. Like, things are gonna work out. To be hopeful. But I also knew that during my first divorce, I was married for 20 years. I crumbled. I folded, bro. I went into like depression, anxiety, like the whole that I drank. I smoked weed. I was suffering in my first divorce, and I learned in my second divorce that she decided she didn't want to do the marriage counseling, but I told myself I should probably stay in this counseling to finish out the sessions, even if she didn't want to go, because the road that was ahead of me, that road led me down the wicked road the last time I did this venture. So in my second divorce, even though she opted to go out, I stayed in the therapy. I stayed in the counseling because I knew that I would need some guidance on what that looked like. Because I knew I was afraid of who I was in my first divorce. After that, I knew I didn't want to go back to that because I had healed and worked on a lot of things. So I needed to stay on this path. So for me, that therapy was crucial because I knew how to navigate what divorce looked like, especially if she had kids and I have a son with her, and I had to navigate. My heart was broken, and then 4 other hearts are broken, the other kids that are in the other picture. So it's a dynamic of you're breaking hearts, but you're also, how do you mend that? And I knew that if that therapy really helped me navigate that. For me, it was really something that helped me. Like, one of my therapists, he told me, like, don't take the kids over to your house. If you have your son, if you guys go do an activity, invite him to that, but don't bring him to your home. It's things like that I would have just done and made the mistake. And I didn't know that because I didn't have counseling. So the therapist actually told me, he's like, that's not healthy for the kids that stay over at mom's house. If you go do activity, invite them to activity, but don't bring them to your house. Because it messes with their mind where they're separating. You're separating from their life, they're separating from your life. And in a healthy way, that's going to confuse them to think that they're still back in the loop. And that was not something I would have known on my own.
Wow.
So it was something like I had to learn from. If I didn't go to that therapy, I would have never learned it. So there was mistakes that I was going to make, and it just shortened the amount of mistakes I made. But it also helped me like guide my emotions through that. And like I really was, bro. My first divorce damn near killed me. I did not know how to.
I speak that truth, man.
I just didn't know how to deal with it, bro. I didn't even feel like I could talk to my family because they don't understand. And when you're with someone for a very long time, 20 years, I started dating her when I was 17. By the time I'm 37, I'm divorced. You can't explain to people your intimate relationship and how it wasn't working out and how you were holding it together, right? Because people don't understand. All they hear, the minute that you divorce, they're quick to just, I love my people, but we're the first to bash. Did you hear so-and-so?
Oh.
Did you hear so-and-so? Did you hear how do they call, but what we could, like, what I feel like, that was something I had to deal with in my divorce. I'm worried about what other people think about my divorce. So it's hard. Divorce is a really, really hard thing because you're also navigating other layers to that. Your dynamic of you and your kids, which should be the first foremost, but then there's other challenges that come with that divorce. And I think for the old me, I would really talk really good into him and really try to tell him that it was going to be all right. And also, like, that God was going to be there. When all my human relationships failed me, he was there. And when I leaned on him, he showed up. And he showed up in ways that nobody could show up. So, like, when I rock with God today, it hits different because I was at my most despair. Like, I reached to him, to the heavens, for him to reach out back, and he did. And it's, that's just my understanding of what I've kind of gone through, and what I would tell myself is to, like, that you're going to make it, and that you're going to be good, and to do the work that's necessary. If it's counseling, do the counseling. If it's talking to someone, talk to someone. If it's reaching out to God and mending that relationship, because for me, that relationship affected all my relationships.
Damn it.
I would jump on that train too. That's the same.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a medication I didn't know that I needed for today. Dude, that was a spectacular, and Juju. I love what you said. Therapy was crucial, and for me, and mending my relationship with God first impacted every relationship thereafter. Holy Spirit, activate, and thank you so much, Juju. Wow, man, like, we can end this podcast.
We can't. We got Lala here too.
Dude, and so please, all the way from the beautiful, like, Tuscan mountains of Italy, Lala, if you can go back 10, 15 years ago to the day you signed those divorce papers, what would you whisper into Lala's ear?
Man, mine was only a few years ago.
Okay.
But I had a weird. Mine was a little different because I probably should have gotten divorced like 2 years into my marriage.
Oh, speak that truth.
I should have done that, but I was one of those, like, old school, like, you figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, my things that had gone on, like, my whole family, like, everyone close to me that knew me was like, you need to, like, I should have left a long time ago. But I didn't want to because I had kids, and, like, to me, that was like when I was a kid, my parents got divorced, and I feel like that, it did a number. And I was like, I'm not going to put that on my kids. I'll go broke, I'll do anything. But, like, the biggest failure to me was, like, what I do with my family.
Yeah.
So, like, I was just like, I don't care how I fail in every other part of my life, but I can't let my family fail. But the way my life went was that, even in my marriage, my wife at the time and the kid, they moved away for like 3 years, and I just thought, I was like, this is what you do, you thug it out. But then I ended up kind of having, at the end of it, I just couldn't. I think, I feel like if somebody hurts you, you think you would stop loving them. But in reality, I stopped loving myself. And so, things that I should have stood up for. This is, but, like, things I should have stood up for myself, things I should have respected myself more for, things that just things. I should have did things way differently, and I could have had a lot of years back on my life that I can't get back. But I think, I thought that, like, if somebody did something to you that felt wrong, you think you'd, like, want to abandon them, but for some reason it was making me try to save it. But like I said, I lost respect and love for myself, and but there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But no, so when I got divorced, man, if I had any kind of advice, this isn't everyone's situation, but for my situation, there's things in my life with divorce didn't solve the problem. Divorce doesn't always solve the problem. And then I've realized now I'm remarried. And there's still problems, but I'm like, I don't know. There's things you kind of have to solve within yourself. There's things you have to take care of. Like, a lot of people think that, if I get divorced, all my problems will go away. They didn't go away.
Yeah.
they stayed, and I actually developed new problems.
Oh.
And then when I got remarried,
Those
that was
same
the best thing I could have done for me and my children was marry my wife. But there's still challenges with my kid's mom that, like, I was like, man, divorce didn't fix it. Being divorced didn't fix it. And then now I'm remarried and it didn't fix things. And I'm just like, how do I don't know. I just was like, I just figured out that, like, not everything that's supposed to fix it in my situation, it hasn't fixed it. So I gotta find another way. But along the way now, I've found, man, like I said, the best thing I could have did for my kids and myself was marry my wife now. It made a world of difference for me, my children, but also just everything in my life now. It's night and day. It's completely different, and I love it. But the advice I would have gave to me is that, I don't know, I feel like you kind of have to love yourself.
Yeah.
If you love yourself and respect yourself, you'll love and respect other people. You'll treat people better. You'll do things better. But, like, at some point, I just didn't know when enough was enough, and I was taking a beating. You know, not like physically, but like I was just taking on a lot of trauma and things that weren't mine to take, but I was taking it, and I don't know. I just, yeah, respect yourself.
Oh, see, no. Okay, hold on. Pause. Thank you both for your sacred stories. I want to create a sacred ground because these everything that just came out of our mouth was a lot of energy. And to put a vocabulary to our sufferings, it costs about 1,000 gallons of tears. Maybe even some tears that we don't show anybody.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to highlight when Alala said that if you stay in toxic relationships, you do not stop loving your partner, and you don't stop loving your kids, but you stop loving yourself. Why that's such a big deal is because in men's health, as a social worker, one of the things that we have to look out for is something called being passively suicidal. There are men who just hold everything in, and they're just like, oh, you got this, oh, I'm strong enough.
Yeah.
But what's actually happening is that they're praying for a stroke. They're praying for an honorable death where their heart stops. And this is a concern. And while I believe that shout out to all the kava bars, man, and the therapy sessions that happen there, I've just learned for myself like that you know, kava and substances and weed and sex and drugs, they hold on, I need to say this, please. They help, but they never healed me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and why that's important is because as we're together, you know, and Lala, like, I love what you said. Like, I'm still trying to figure this out, and that's okay. And even and Juju too, and like, and when you said like therapy was crucial and for me, because it helped me to untwist and some things inside of you. And so with this next question, yeah, what would I have said to me? I was like, bro, just go slower. There's no vocabulary for this, but just to feel it, don't and numb it. That's what what I said to myself. I really like what you said in Studio about preserving the home and taking them out and not bringing them into a new home for the health of your children, because like I can see the impact because I did have that learning experience, and it was hard for my kids to stabilize. that they live in 2 homes now, and it was too much, too soon, too fast. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But now, hey, before we move on, are there any other thoughts, comments? Because this is some really good meat here.
Yeah.
But my next question, though, and one of the reasons why I love you both is because, with your accountability, I've never heard you once bash the mother of your children. But at the same time, there have been difficult times. I had an amazing therapist who helped me to teach me, George, don't call her your ex, call her the mother of your children. Because when I call her the mother of my children,
Yeah. It changes the perspective a little bit. Not a derogatory one, but yeah. I know it. Yeah.
I remember the blood, sweat, and tears, and the smells, and the struggles that the mother of my children chose to give me children. That kind of melts away. That kind of sucks the poison out. But at the same time, though, we still had to co-parent. Being on this new journey, if we can give advice, please, to our brothers who are experiencing struggles with co-parenting. And starting that, please, Lala, from your experience, what would you tell Lala at the beginning of your co-parenting, with everything that you know now?
Man, I've gone through the ringer.
Mm.
I kind of prided myself on being being good co-parents, and then just life. I don't know. It's very odd. So leading up to my divorce, we were already co-parenting before we formally got divorced because she lived not in our home anymore. So she lived somewhere else. The kids were staying with me, and the place she was living, she couldn't take the kids there, so she was like, I'd leave to work and she would come watch the kids at my place. But then time goes on and she got another place, so then we were doing the co-parenting thing. But man, co-parenting, I want it to work. I want it to be smooth. I want it to be like, because my kid's mom, this is a person, I loved her, I cared about, this was everything, and I'm like, man, we can't even just be decent. Why can't I just talk to you like, man, how's your day? Like, what's going on with you, kind of a thing? Or I just want to be normal. But then, I don't know, everybody's situation is different, but especially now that I've gotten remarried, me and my wife, we kind of we're really big on my daughter has a recital or something at school. Hey, let's all go to breakfast. Come with us. Come to us to the ward Christmas party, New Year's Eve party, or something. But I don't know. It doesn't work.
But inviting
so me and my wife, we include her. We want her to be a part of things, because her feeling was that, oh, you're replacing me, because I have. And I'm like, I have a new wife, but you're still the mother. Yeah. She's also a mother, but you're still their mother, and we would just try to at least just include her or make her not feel on the outside. And so, but then we would just get shut down. We just couldn't do it. She didn't want to do it. She didn't want to be a part of it. And then there's weird struggle with now that I'm married, just the whole co-parenting thing. But I feel like I have co-parenting down because our personal relationship might be one thing, it might be another, but the way my kids come around and I talk about their mom, it's like we're best friends. Yeah. She does that, I do that. They don't know that me and her get into little arguments or something about whatever, but we get along pretty good, but my kids don't feel any of it. That's my biggest thing. But if someone has some great co-parenting tips, let me know. When I tell you I've exhausted every I don't know, I've done everything, but it just seems difficult at times just to and I hate not being able to see my kids. I talk to my kids 10 times a day. And then my punishment for, whatever I don't do, my punishment is that I get blocked and I can't talk to my kids.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And like my punishment for not, I don't know, whatever I don't, if I do something that makes her unhappy, the first thing she pulls out from under me is talking to my kids. I had to go buy my daughter a watch just so like
That's
when
wonderful.
mom cuts me off, I can still.
Have access.
But
An
yeah.
Apple Watch?
No,
It's like a Gab one. It's
Yeah,
for
yeah,
kids. I didn't give my kids access to like full blown phones. No, you can call me. That's who you
That's
can
it.
call.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, co-parenting. I want it to be great. I want it to be easy. I want it to be like. I tried to bring her on a vacation with us, like that we could all go and like. I was like, of course you have your own room. You could, but we can all be there with the kids. But maybe that's weird. I don't know, but yeah. You're the professional.
Yeah,
but the point is I was just giving effort to be like, hey, you're not excluded from this family. You're a part of everything. But I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely is a fail forwarding experience because there's still residue. There's still unresolved energy that everybody has to find on their own and has to figure out on their own, either through therapy. But yeah, no, like I thank you so much for your story, and it's difficult in trying to integrate and make things work from a statistical like a social science is what's best for the kids. So thank you, Mama. Because that's a lot of humility, man. That's a lot of like drinking from the joints. Like it's hard to think that like it's not about you, but it's about we.
Yeah.
And at this time, please, Juju, I'd love to hear your thoughts
No,
about
I
co-parent.
think we can all identify with each other's story when it comes to co-parenting, because it really is. It's kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, please.
Oh, it's kind of mind blowing that you could be very so intimate and love someone so closely, and then that same person becomes your worst enemy.
Yeah.
So it's weird how you navigate that, because now you have to co-parent with them. And I myself have found myself in the same situation where you're like, man, we used to be best friends. How come we're the worst enemies? Like, I understand we're not going to be apart, and I think sometimes like for me, it is hard I think men and women operate on two different waves of emotions, right? I think sometimes, and I may be wrong, but for me, I'm like, when I'm done, we're done. Let's just be co-parents. Forget all of whatever we did in our relationship, because that's diminished. This is a new start. The only relationship we should pour into is the relationship with our child. So for me, navigating, I want to put him at the forefront, or my kids at the forefront, because anytime I put myself in the mix, my pride gets in the way. I get upset because things aren't going my way. She ain't no longer my wife, so I can't control her, So I try to do those things, and those are the things that eat at me, because then she does the same thing. I'm going to pull my kids away. I'm going to do this. So I think a lot of times it's just like, what's the best technique to co-parenting? I actually don't know. But what I do know is that every time I put my kid in front of me, I never let my emotions, I don't want to talk out of place with her. I want to communicate effectively, because I don't want to lose that channel of connection that I have to him.
Yeah.
And if it's my pride that if I got to bite my tongue, if I got to shorten my text, if I got to pause for 2 minutes, send the text to a friend that can approve this text before I send this. These are mechanisms that I use right now that work for me, because I know regular Juju will get in Juju's own way of his own blessings. It's been proven in my own life. So if I stop, shoot that text to a friend, screenshot it to a friend, hey, what you think about this? Am I out of pocket? Boom. I'm lucky. God bless my friends out there that I can do this with, because it saves me from no, you can't see him, another argument. It's just a real, things like that have helped me to take a pause, send it, or even just, communicate from a place that doesn't feel personally attacking. Because sometimes we know what we do, and for me, I know what I do, and I will sometimes use that against her, and it's not fair to her or the relationship of my kid.
Man.
My kid is just caught in the crossfire, so I gotta do as much blocking of the
Don't let the
crossfire.
kids feel it. That's you know.
You don't want that
Yeah.
because you don't.
Please.
That's the main.
And that's
thing.
the main thing is like, so same. I do the same thing. When he brings up mom, I'm like, I love her. I'm like, you miss mom? I miss mom too. I miss mom too. I miss mom. I love her.
I miss your mom like I miss a rock in my shoe.
It's just one of those things because they gotta hear that, but they don't.
No,
they can't,
yeah,
you know
they-
what I'm saying? Like it is hard. And
But one thing I know, like especially with, like, as much as we argue and we fight, man, I still have to protect my children's mother.
Boss,
Like-
speak that truth, bro.
Dude, I can't, man. No one around me, my own family, my friends, whatever, nobody comes around and says things about my children's mother, because it's like, if it's you, I don't care if your mom was bad to your dad, that's still your mom.
Right.
You'll get up and fight somebody for
Right.
your mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't care if that was my ex-wife, but I'm like, oh, it's still these kids' mom. Like, you know, you can't talk bad about, because they're going to stand up for their mother,
Right.
even if it's their own father talking bad. You know what I mean? But yeah, there in a lot of ways I protect my children's mother. But you know what I mean? Like, you know, like even if there's things that, you know, I don't want my kids to know about certain things, and so I'm like, you protect your,
That
you know, you
conversation
you protect the identity of a woman you don't have a good relationship with, but for your kids you need to preserve it and make it something. But there's like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
No, for
that's,
real.
Yeah, you
that's
know?
a humble path. That's a way to go, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well through like social science, yeah, like it's because our kids are defining their intimate relationships through what we see. My mom and dad, and shout out to them, for all that they were, for having like 12 kids. They had that gangster love, you know, and like I was like, yeah, like I've actually I remember like, you know, and waking up and seeing my dad with like a scar, like with like scratches on his face, and my mom had a black eye. And then I remember like him growing up, and there was something inside me, and I was like, that's not love. Like that hurts. It's like no, like the cops should not come over. But why that matters though, and why I bring that up is is because some of the things that I had to untwist within me is that love is not abuse, and love is not violence, and with our kids, they are going to have their own opinions. But when co-parents can work cohesively, not perfectly, but if they can work as best as they can, their kids have a better, life outcomes in terms of healthy relationships, in terms of like not getting divorced, you know. And I know that it's like that, because hold on, in order for science to be science, it needs to be proven wrong. And so, as I'm sharing these and these stats and these facts and statistics, please, it's open to interpretation. I am a mental health professional, but I'm not the expert of you. And why that's important too, and so off tangent, but and going back, I had a therapist who told me you cannot love your children and hate their mother at the same time.
Yeah.
And I said, watch me. Watch me, kid. Watch. Show me. Show me. Watch how I do this. And so then, I did not agree. Hold on. But then I had the kids, man, and
It's hilarious.
we had family prayer, man. And my damn 10-year-old son, he said out loud, God, please protect my mom.
that's his mom. That's his mom.
That's the way it's always
Bro,
It don't matter your problems with
Bro.
her. That's his mom, man.
been. Well, we also
Yeah.
raised them that way, right?
Yeah.
You did a good job raising them. If their instinct is to protect their mom.
you talk about a demon being exorcised, man, off of a 10-year-old prayer. And why that juju and why that energy was so important is because I can't love and hate at the same time. They can't like they cannot exist in the same space. Like they can't share space. And so thank you so much for that arousing discussion. Like I just wanna like and get a heartbeat. Lala and Juju, I know that these are some big topics, but like how are you guys doing so far?
Cool.
Nice. Like are you guys okay, like if I can ask just like a couple more in questions, then we'll be good.
Fire it off, man.
Also,
Let's do
okay, so for you in your life, what role has addiction played or not played in your divorce and in your journey? And to get it started off, please, and Juju, please.
Ooh, E, ooh.
Like don't share it.
How you feel?
Yeah.
Real good.
Addiction, bro. Well, you know what? I mean, I think it stems, for me, addiction is something that stems from a young version of me escaping, starting with weed, and it just escaping reality. When things get tough, for some of us, the first thing we want to do is escape. And that was me. Like that's a pattern of mine when it comes to addiction. So when times get tough, I know how to run away. That's always been my cup of tea. So I think really my addiction had an all-time high when I got my first divorce.
Speak that truth.
It was heartbreaking, bro. I was 20 years married, lost my wife, lost my kids, and I just up and left. And I lost my identity. I was always an active church member, so I was like feeling spiritually casted out. Like when they say they get Lucifer casted out from the ark. I was there. No, I was right there. I was casted out. I lost my identity. I lost the responsibility as a father. So I was lost. And the only thing that I could find at the time was comfort in drinking, comfort in weed, comfort in addiction.
Yeah.
And I was lost for a period, bro. And I think what I discovered from addiction was that I had a hole inside of my soul, and the hole was a spiritual void, but I filled it with something that was temporary, whether it be weed, drinking. I mean, fuck, I could do kava. If I'm a crackhead, I'm a crackhead on everything that I do. I'm a straight up legit. I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna get blasted.
You in for a penny, you in for
Bro,
a pound.
for
man.
real, that's what I'm saying. So I was
Bar.
just like, I was lost in the sauce for a minute. And it wasn't until I really got to the rock bottom and I started losing people. And for me, what got me up out of my addiction was losing my parents back to back. 2018, 2019,
Bro,
6
I
months
speak that
apart.
truth.
And that loss is just like, losing loved ones will either wake you up or break you down. And I woke up. COVID was coming. I'm like, I'm overweight. I can't breathe. I smoke. I am the statistic of what's going to happen. I'm death. Death is knocking at my door. And I just had a revelation that was not something I wanted to live. And God got me out of the depths of my own hell, bro. And that's really, when I started feeling that spiritual void, it helped with my physical, mental, the whole thing, bro. It just, for me, addiction it's just been an escape. So I realized that when your life is good, no one wants to escape. So I don't need anything today. But I realized that I've done some of the work in the backgrounds, in the corner crevices, the shadows of my soul. I've put some light there. I've dug through the shit that I needed to get through, which I knew I ignored. When you talk about, like, even when you said I went through divorce wasn't fixing it. All these other things, it wasn't that it was my situations were changing, but inside I wasn't, and I knew when I was ready to go to God, I was ready to surrender, fully surrender. What that meant was like everything, like show them all my good, show them all my bad, show them that I'm a horny motherfucker, show them that I love to smoke weed, show them everything,
bro.
Yeah,
Dude,
show them that I like to
100.
drink. But then what he did with me was something I couldn't do on my own.
No.
What he did with me was something I could not do on my own. I tried it for 37, 38 years of my life trying to do it on my own. But when I fully submitted, man, that surrender was if I had known that when we go back to talking about the old divorce, when you're getting divorced, what would you tell? So I would have told myself right then, the first time I got divorced, surrender to God and see what happens. You tried it your way. This is the result that you came up with. Surrender. Because then the second time I had my divorce, I was already surrendering. And that same month, I lost my son to suicide. So I got divorced and suicide, and buried my son that same month. So it was like, that's a lot separately, but together. But I would have never made it had I reconnected with God in the way that I did. So when I say, like, am I a God shouting person? Yes. The reason why, I get it now, because I used to look at those God yelling people like, why you always talking about God, bro? But because when He saves you and He changes you, and by His grace, something happened, a miracle happened, and you are that miracle, you're going to want to scream it out.
I didn't know that you're divorced and then your son was like back to back.
It was the same month, bro. I signed those papers, and then later at the end of that month, my son had killed himself. And even leading up to my son's death, we saw it coming. That's the scary part. Spiritually, he wasn't fit, and he was living with. And I'm not trying to this is by not any means this is just to tell the truth, like the real story about what life is like before suicide. My wife had reached out to me, and we had not talked since the divorce. So 2-3 years, she never heard from her. 3 weeks before my son, she says, I'm worried that he's going to shoot me and shoot himself. So I said to her, I'm on the outskirts because me and her have never talked. And such as us raising our boys, you stand by your mom. So he stood by his mom. And I knew that I raised him to stand by your mom. So that wedge was always there, and we could never connect. But those 3 weeks leading up to his death, she reached out, and I tried to talk to her, and I said, hey, you need to. She could tell. She's like, he's dark. It's dark in his room. He never comes out. Almost as if, for me, where I was spiritually, I could see that my demons bypassed me and went straight for my son. And I say this because spiritually, I think I grew up in a church that never talked about Satan, never talked about demons, never talked about the other side. We respect that it's there, but we don't know how they work. And where I knew, they were at war with me. So they went for him. And he wasn't in a spiritual place. And his mom wasn't spiritually fit. So she didn't have that home that was conducive to bring the light that he needed at that time. And our conversations were like,
it's a perfect storm.
Yeah, it was this perfect storm brewing for him. And I tried to tell him, I said, can you pray for him? She's like, no, I don't have that spirit with him. I said, you know what? At this time, fake it.
Yeah.
You just got to bring that light into him. You just got to bring some light into his soul. And I knew that I was feeling an impression that that darkness that was surrounding my son 2-3 weeks prior was the same darkness I had felt in my own life. And I said, we need to pray. I said, can I come over there? And she said, no, my boyfriend wouldn't be allowed. Can I pray for him? Can you put him on the phone since he doesn't want to answer me? And I just think that sometimes we as children of God, even though we may attend church every Sunday, but there is a real spiritual warfare happening in our world today. And darkness is the war between good and evil. You can look at social media, you can look at the music, you can look at it, it's all dark. And even the light, it seems to be subliminally adjusted, it's camouflage. It's got a little darkness in it too. So I just knew for me that spirit, where I walk at spiritually now, it's different. It hits different because when you start looking through the lens of spirituality, you can see that it's not just addictions, it's in the spiritual attack. It's these different dynamics of your life. It's not just your pride, it's like a demon of pride, right? It's not just greed, it's a demon of greed. It's all these little like darkness demons that we have that they just latch on, and they don't like it when you don't talk about them because they can stay in their camouflage. Why do you think we don't talk about it in church? Because they live longer there.
Yeah.
The more that we silence them out, the more that they can creep in the shadows and the corners of your soul, where you subliminally don't realize that you walk with them.
Yeah, you know.
Sorry, I went to like,
No. No, I know, and then I want to highlight that in mental health, when you said that, and the demon bypassed me and went to my children. In mental health, we call that intergenerational trauma. The things that are not resolved within us get passed on down. hold on, please, hold on. And look, and please,
no,
I have a 17-year-old and daughter now. When she was 14, and because of my actions that were not healthy during my divorce, she was incarcerated at 14, and she picked up some of the demons that she started to drink from the same cups.
Mm-hmm.
And so, though it was suicide, I can please allow me just to empathize and imagine how heavy it is to always hear, you should have, would have, could have. And it's not easy, but it is real. And why this is important is because I need to take a time out. In Juju, not every superhero wears a red cape.
They wear blue ones.
Blue polo.
Well, yeah.
Blue polos.
Blue polos, no, but then Juju, you are a miracle. You standing here is just as big as seeing the Red Sea split and seeing an angel, because I love you, and you are thank you for blessing us with your energy and your spirit, because it's deeper and rooted. And thank you so much.
Thank God. Thank you.
Please, and thank you so much. And Lala, please, the same question, man.
Man, I'm boring. I didn't really have I didn't really suffer from addictions it's funny because I'm like in like the cannabis industry, but like I'm a fraud. I don't even smoke.
You don't even smoke?
No, I'm
so funny.
That's okay.
I look like I smoke
You look
all
like-
the
oh,
weed,
yeah.
but I don't smoke. I don't drink. I drink cover from time to time, but the way my grandparents kind of taught me that was always like a tool. Like it was like it wasn't to drown your sorrows in. Like my grandma used to tell me, she's one of the few grandmothers that was telling me to go with Fakava, but because that's kind of where you go with the men, and they teach you how to be a man.
Yeah.
They tell you how they run their families or some, work and what you do as a man, and you might hear some inappropriate jokes from time to time, but it was kind of like a place where you're supposed to go learn how to be a man, how to conduct yourself in your community or whatever. That's my grandmother's take on it. That's why so even now I don't use it as like a drown my sorrows in it. I just I'm not saying you have to be cool to drink kava, but all the people that drink kava are already cool. You know? So I go do it just cause. But yeah, addiction. I never. If I had a vice, it would be work.
Yeah.
I let all my life's problems get figured out by work. I would work. It's good.
It's
It's good, but there's also downsides. Dude, I would start working. That's why I feel like I have so much things going on. With my addiction was my deflection. I was just like,
Ooh,
let me
say
work.
that again.
My addiction was deflection because I was like, let me work my ass off, provide and give everybody everything they need, but I'm kind of not really dealing with my shit. Like, I'm just working and having nice things and making sure everybody's good, but I'm not solving the real problems. So like I would work all day, I'd work all night, I would lose sleep, and my health probably wasn't great, but like I would just work. But then I kind of realized that I kind of took like, oh look, I'm providing for my children, well, in my situation, there's families and people around me that's like directly and indirectly supported by me, or things that I do. I just kind of like I take care of a lot of people around me, whether it's directly or indirectly. So I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna work and take care of all this and do all of these things, and I'd have like this. I don't know. I'd feel some type of honor in it. But then, like I said, like I would do all these things and like, look, I did all this and I made sure everybody was solid. But then I was like, oh, I'm not fixing my real problems. So I would just, to make me feel better about it, I would just keep working. I'd keep doing this, but I wasn't solving shit. Like I wasn't taking care of the deep down inside me stuff. I was just like working and doing something that felt good to me, which was good. It was a blessing in certain ways, but really it was my addiction. My addiction was deflection. I just didn't want to deal with my problems, so I worked myself until I forgot about them, or
They sorted
literally,
themselves out,
literally, yeah. But like, it's because I just didn't want to confront them. If I confronted them, then they'd be real, and if they were real, then I would probably have a real addiction problem. But if I just carried on like nothing was falling apart or like going bad around me, then I wouldn't, like if I admitted how bad my family life and my relationship with my wife at the time was, I feel like I would have fell apart. But I was like, nope,
Just kept
she
trying.
can hate me or whatever the status of our relationship is. At least she'll have a nice car and a credit card and things. And my kids will be,
hey,
you know what I mean?
yes.
Like, you gotta hate me, but you'll be sitting in a home and, like, with things. And I'm like, but I didn't really take care of the things I was supposed to. But it helped in one way or the other, but it also made it, like, it's kind of what, like, drinking and all those things are. You can go drink all night. You can go smoke all night. You can go drink cover all night. But when you wake up, the problem is still there.
Facts.
And so if you want to keep avoiding the problem, you go out and drink again. You go out and do this again. You're doing more, but the problem still exists. So that was me. I just kept not solving the problem and finding something else like to occupy the time and the space. So I'm like, oh, sorry, I'd love to solve my shit, but gotta go do this thing, But yeah, I guess that's my only addiction I dealt with.
No, and you know what too? And go back, like, your relationship or your unhealthy relationship that you were in with the mother of your children, you also like blended it onto an unhealthy relationship with work.
Yeah.
And in mental health, we often talk about like roots and fruits. That what we do is a fruit of us. It's not a root of us. And when that's such a big deal, like that, I really like to put out there is that unhealed men hurt men, but healed men heal men. Shout out to my sponsor and my recovery groups, because they taught me that in order to heal, I needed to learn how to feel. So, and they taught me to use the phone. That in mental health, there are associates, friends, family, and a team. Our health, our mental health recovery is a team sport. It's not a family sport. Our recovery is a team sport, not a friend sport, because there are things that you need to say to your team that you will never say to the mother of your children. Basically, like, it's a way that your demons can be translated into an angel, and your darkness can be turned into the light. Because, like, I know that when I get triggered, when I choose to get and triggered, I have a phone list of about 5 men that I call, and I'm like, man, you know what? You know what? And then hold on. And then, guys, please, like, just being like, and like, but then after 3 hours, right? I'm like, because like that energy needs to be untwisted. And just like the kava bar man, I have seen men have like deep therapy at the kava bars, man, with the right and people, man. And so definitely, like, addiction is a deflection, and though it may help, it doesn't always heal. You know, like, and especially too, like, I knew that. Okay, wow, I might like have myself a recommendation to take it away, but just like a couple of I just remember, like, at the beginning, man, like, trying to be intimate with another person when you know that you're still bleeding all over the place, that she is crappy. And that when you know that your heart is not into it, your body's not even into it, and your mind is not into it, because the addiction is a deflection. So with all of that said, and thank you all so much. I have one last question. Is that okay?
Yeah.
You guys,
Let's do it.
and we're okay?
Yeah.
All right, our last and question, right? Here you go. Dia, Juju, and Lala, how do you find self-love post-divorce? How do you build this new identity? How do you find, like, how do you rediscover you, refine you, love you, relearn you? How did you, like, how are you and doing that now, and how have you come to learn how to do that? And we'll get it started off with Lala, please.
Yeah, let me get this one before my ADD kicks in. No, man, one thing I hated. This was something that I hated when I was getting divorced. So this is something that I've learned as time has gone on. But based on what my children's mother has said about me, I have a whole nother identity out there.
Oh.
That I had no idea about. But this is the identity that she gave me to justify certain things in her life.
Ooh.
But these are things that, like, I was like, wait, when did I do this? Or how did I do that? And even though it's not true, I shouldn't care, but I was caring about it. Like, I was like, wait, what do you mean all these people think this? Because of what I don't know why it bothered me. It bothered me so bad that, like, somebody else thought something. Yeah. And then, like, I started doing, I don't know, like, it was like it's crazy how much I learned now, but, I mean, even now, a lot of people I've kind of figured out my own way of conquering that, but I started doing things to, like, kind of reactive to what other people would think or what other people thought. And then, I don't know if it was like an overnight thing or if it's just happened so gradually that I don't even notice, but now I kind of just, like, I found things that made me happy and things that I enjoyed doing with my kids or even in my own hobbies or whatever. But, like, I started doing things truly for myself. And it wasn't things that, like, I thought I should be doing, like, when I felt obligated to do it, or things that, like, I need to do this just to prove all the naysayers wrong. I have to do this just to let everybody know I'm not a failure as a father or a failure as a husband. And I was doing all these things to be to clean up the image or whatever that I had, like, and then because I was letting, like, other people's opinion about me affect me. And so it felt like when I was trying to do things to prove all these people wrong, even if I did or not, but it just, I don't know, it got exhausting. But then when I started, like, I kind of started not caring. I stopped caring about everything that I thought I cared about, and I kind of just like paid attention to my own, like, there's a lot of things that are fun, there's a lot of things that you can enjoy, but there's some, if you really pay attention, there's some shit that makes you happy.
Bro, speak that truth.
You know, you can jump on a roller coaster, that's fun. But then you find something that makes you happy. Happy and fun is not the same thing.
Ooh, teach me.
Yeah, so like, I mean, there's things that like, oh, let's go out and party, let's go out and mix all night, let's go out and do all these things. Fun things. But then there's things that I found that made me happy. Like, it just truly made me happy. I didn't care if somebody was watching me do it. I didn't do it so that I could tell a story to somebody else. It just made me happy. Like, it gave me weird, like, it gave me an odd fulfillment that, like, all the hard work I would do in a day, I didn't feel this fulfilled. All the good things and nice stuff that I could have done for people or anybody, it wasn't the same. Like, I got some kind of, like, when I have a good day of things that make me happy and, like, things with my family, things with my kids, just things with my wife, I, like, sit at home and I get that, like, whole, like, you know, old people, they can just sit on a porch and just stare at nothing all day. It's because they're happy already. What do you need to do if you're already happy? Sit on the porch. Just sit. Like, I finally figured out that, like, the old people that sit around and do nothing, I'm like, man, they've been happy. They're fulfilled.
Yeah.
They've checked all their boxes in life. What is there left to do? Enjoy it. So, like, I don't know. I don't know if you guys know. I'm behind on my social media posts. I haven't posted, like, the last 10 tattoos I've done on, like, Instagram. I'm behind in
How does that feel?
Dude, it feels great because I'm excelling at being a husband and father right now.
No.
Nobody knows that.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
No, I'm just gonna ask
Oh,
you.
man, I'm a big stepper in my house, you know?
Yeah, because I was wondering, like, it seems like there's a lot of pressure with the social media environment, so taking a step back is probably...
Well, it's not even that I wanted to take a step back. It's just like, oh, I got to make all these posts today. And then I'm like...
Do I?
Man, well, that's the thing. Like, last night, I washed it off, but my daughter's painted my nails last night. I'm like, can't pass that up.
Yeah.
You know, let me post this later. And then I don't know. But it's great that I'm now pushing life aside for my family and for my kids. When before I was pushing them aside to, like, let me go to work and deflect the bullshit I'm supposed to deal with. And all the hard problems and even just time with my kids. Let me do all these other things to make me feel like a man, but really I should just stay here with y'all, and you know what I mean. But so now I have a lot of fulfillment and happiness from, you know, shit that you can't buy. It don't matter how hard I work. There's some shit I can't buy to make me happy, and I found them. So it's pretty dope.
Okay, so it's time out here. Wow. For everybody who is watching, please check the technique. One of the things that came out of his mouth was, I believed in the identity that she gave me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And as you've had to learn, the word that you used was that identity became exhausting. It was too inauthentic, unreal. But then as you went on your journey, the way that you found self-love was through understanding the difference between fun and happy. It's cool to do fun, but happiness gave you fulfillment.
Yeah.
Take my job. No, I did.
Won't
That's
pass the background check.
I did. Hey. No, but dude, Lala, that was magnetic. That was spectacular. And that's such a golden and nugget, like, cause like, that was.
I got a 10-piece for you then, my bud.
Roar! With the mashed potatoes and the coleslaw. Dude, and so please, you gotta pass the mic to and Juju. We are ready for your healing and Juju, please.
Loving yourself. I think that's gonna look different for everybody. I think for me, working out.
Teach us, please.
Bro, I'm still learning. So, but I think when you are a husband and your identity is in your marriage, you're a father. Finding time to love on you is a really important thing.
Oh, speak that.
Because I think for me, working out for me is like I invested Juju Incorporated before I invest into my employment
Incorporated.
before I invest into my kids. Because if I'm not doing me, like, and honestly, like, I hate where I'm at in life because I'm seeing a lot of people that's my age passing away, and it's shocking, bro. It's really it's crazy. It's so it's like, you know, recently I had this quote come to me. It's like your lifestyle will dictate your lifespan. And I'm trying to like live for my kids, you know, not just for me, but because when you talk about like what makes you happy, of course, man, if you have children and you're a father, their joy is your joy. When you see them smile, you smile. I think a lot of that, but also how do you create that without loving on yourself first? I think that's kind of, they go hand in hand. Taking the time to pour into your own cup before you pour into your children's cup, your employer, you know, your employer, or, you know, your business. I think a lot of it has to do with, are you doing what makes you happy? I'm a sucker for the hot springs. I live near Crystal Hot Springs now.
Bro, teach us.
Bro. I'm there all the time. They let me in, and they just say, you know, you're good. They call me Maui up there, bro. So I'm in there like swimwear. I'm in there like swimwear.
Wow.
All the kids. So I go. I think that's my thing. Is like I do things now that are different. Because when I used to say I feel like going out, I still have that itch to go out. I'll go to a new gym. I go to a different gym and just
I've been seeing you in the gym. This final form of Juju, if this is it,
I'm
hair's tighter, body more swole,
Super Saiyan level 4.
These quads is busting out these jeans, man.
I'm trying to get there.
Quadzilla, baby.
So I'll go do something like that. That sounds dumb though, right? Like I'm gonna go clubbing, but this time I'm not really going clubbing. I'm going to different.
To a gym club.
Check out different gyms. That's my jam.
You putting time back on your clock, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Used to be gang violence that was taking us out. Now it's table salt and sugar. It used to be gang violence. Now it's diet.
Hold on, time out. Shout out to all the social workers in California and in Samoa who are pushing back. Like it's called food. Food. Yeah, we're trying to push back against our cardiovascular issues. But please, man. I'm sorry.
I was just saying that working out. Well, I'm a sucker for a massage. I have a masseuse that comes to the house.
Oh my gosh!
You know, I know this sounds like some lame stuff, but I'm grown now, so this is what I do for
self-care.
Self-care, bro. You know? I'm trying to live long, trying to live healthy.
Bang, choo-choo trains.
Yeah. So yeah, man, and I just try to be there for my kids too, man. But part of being there is like, you know, doing the work, bro. I see a therapist. I'm an advocate for therapy in the poly community. I know a lot of our people have great insurance that we don't use.
Yeah.
So
that's been my secret. That's like been my secret. I don't know. Well, not secret, but like that's been like my secret weapon. I'll say that. I did the same thing where I got me and my kid's mom into therapy. And then she didn't show up. This is after we're divorced, just because of our problems.
Yeah.
And then she didn't show up, and then I stayed. I was just like,
me.
Run it then. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I've been low-key getting ahead in life, you know? I got an oracle that I go and consult with. Like, magic oracle. Tell me the, you know what I mean? But yeah.
There's just some
therapy.
Therapy, you can just say some shit that you're not going to tell anybody. You can't even tell your best friend because you can't. That's a paid professional. Yeah. A lot of times as people, I think we don't want to go dump on somebody, which you shouldn't go dump on. It's not healthy. But if you got a paid professional where you can just say, you know what, I'm going to dump all kinds of shit on you, and you're going to take it.
Yeah.
The comfort level, once you...
Sort me out.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Get me right. What does this mean?
It is,
you know?
Yeah. That's not a space I think that most poly men get to walk into.
Even this guy, he's been picking apart all the little things that we say, and I'm just like, oh man, you know, you should do this as a job. All the things you've been like, you've been taking all our caveman hieroglyphics and they're like, this is what it means. And
Yeah.
like, oh wow.
No, you know what? If I can please take a pause here. I'm number 9. My 2 older brothers died because of drugs and gang violence. My mom and dad in 1989, they freaked out. They put me into 8 years of private school. I became the golden boy. You said the word obligation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a trigger word for me.
Yeah.
Because my mom and dad, they couldn't work. They couldn't
It's
afford
on you now. Dude.
private school.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, I shaved my head and I got beat because I was a fiakengi. But then, like, hold on. But, like, I needed to make space because everything that you see here came at the sacrifice of my 2 brothers. It came at the sacrifice of my mom, of my immigrant and mom and dad, working 80 hours per week. And shout out to my fahu and my fahu and Supreme and Talahiva. She's my mommy. She was 8 years old, and I got put into her hands. And she had to skip over her teenage years, and she had to grow up way too fast. And she didn't have a proper introduction into her femininity. And it impacted her, and her life was sacrificed for me. So why I give this up and like hotcakes is because those 5 lives I didn't earn. It was a gift. So why this is so important to me is because, yes, like I do practice this as a profession, but I put myself out there as a gift that was given to me and freely. Juju, what you just said, if I can segue, was explosive. Juju is giving the love that Juju was looking for from the beginning. All the energy, all the love that you gave your first wife and your second wife, Juju is giving to Juju now. And it's been transformative. It's been revolutionary, evolutionary, and revelationary. English is my second language. I'm so sorry. Siya mano English. But guys, that is all for my questions, guys. If you can look at the camera, and for all our beautiful brothers out there who are in the struggle, can you leave them with a final word, please? And Juju.
Hey, yeah, man. You're not alone. You can do it. You know, it takes work, but it's worth it if you work it. Like Missy Elliott said.
You put my cape down, flip it, and reverse it. It's different. I love us. This is authentically us.
Yeah.
This is transparently, yes, a shout out. And Juju, if people wanted to get in contact with you, what's your Instagram handle?
Journey to Good Juju.
Journey to Good Choo-Choos.
Yeah. Damn, that's a good name.
I know, right? Man. And Lala, please, and for a brother out there who is staring at the divorce papers right now, can you leave him with one piece of advice, and to help him on his new journey?
Man, you should go to your doctor and ask them about Triactin.
Okay, awesome. Okay, what's Triactin?
Triactin like a fucking man. Respect yourself as a man. Be the provider. Be the everything. Be a real man. If a real man, I don't know. If that's your situation, if you're a real man, you'll know, nope, I'm not getting divorced. I'm going to fix it. But also, if you're a real man, you'll know that, I can walk away. So whatever that means to you, be a man. Being a man has lost its meaning lately because you can be anything but be a man nowadays. But be the guy who deals with it, gets through it, handles it, and is the symbol of strength to everybody else. Try acting like a man. Be a man, everyone.
Be a man. Yes. And just his last thing, you know what?
Is that too harsh?
No, it's real. No. Look, it's authentic. Look, man. If toxic masculinity is the cancer, then healed masculinity is the cure.
Be a healed man.
Because it's one thing to create the safe space, but please remember that all the love that you need is already inside of you. There are things that are fun, but they will not make you happy and fulfilled. Please be like our brother and Juju, who is loving himself so deep that he was able to build a new identity. And with all of that, I say thank you for coming to our episode, and aloha.
We were Voyagers!
Thank you for coming. Thank you, Juju. Thank you, Lala. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus, for making this happen. If you didn't want this to happen, it wouldn't. Cause yeah, Juju and Lala and Church. Yeah.
Hello, George. Okay.
We need to get...
Do we hit the stop one?
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
please.
I feel
Oh,
like
yeah,
this
boy.
could really be